Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to Bad Habits. Today we have found yet another new game. Big shocker, right? This new game that I found is called Ratopia. Now, this whole game is based off of a city builder, but it's not your normal type of city builder. Have you ever played Terraria? I mean, who hasn't? It's kind of like one of those games like Minecraft that everybody has either seen, played, or watched somebody else play. Well, this game has somewhat along the same lines as Terraria. It is a 2D side-scrolling builder. But in my personal opinion, I feel like this game took it farther, much farther. You ever sit there playing on your game Terraria and you wish that your citizens could actually do something? Well, that is this game's whole mechanic. You are a queen of this newly found village. Apparently, your last one fell apart and you're moving here to start over once again. You start out with literally nothing, and you have to walk around the map and collect resources yourself, which most of them grow back over time. You then take these beginning resources and use them to create an entranceway for your city, to let other people into your city. Each Radisson has things that they can do well and things that they cannot do well, such as joy decline rate being higher or lower. Or possibly your Radisson just likes to sleep on the floor. There are many different options that are randomly picked for each Radisson that comes into your city. Now, soon after you hire your first Radisson to come into the city, you must give them a job. You set them up with anything from gathering plants to butchering animals for your food. And later on, you can get your Radissons to be things such as guards, medics, or even someone to smelt your iron for you. This is all in the name of your grand city that you're building from the ground up. Now, in like every game of this sort, your citizens have needs, and you need to take care of those needs, or they'll revolt against you. They'll literally start tearing down your city while you're just sitting there shaking your head, like, you know how much I have fed you this week? I made free food for all of you. They don't care the food's free. And honestly, sometimes you're lucky if they eat it in the first place. But that's besides the point. It's up to you and you alone to make sure that all your Radissons have all of the things that they need in order to survive and live a happy life. Yes, how much fun they're having is also something that they need. So you have to take time out of your precious royal day in order to make sure everybody is happy and that everybody has the correct job. You're gonna need people such as gatherers, people to make food, entertainers, people to heal your Radissons, guards. Why guards, you ask? Because every so many days you're going to get attacked by something outside the city. Be it zombies or kobolds, you don't know why they're attacking, but it's obvious they want you gone. But honestly, I've had more Radissons die from starvation than being attacked by these outside forces. And most of these problems you just take care of yourself. Now, as I said before, this game is a city builder, and as such, you have decorations that you can decorate your house with, things that you can put all over your city to make your city look nice. Statue, art, pictures, wallpaper. You can even go through and rebuild the ground itself to give it that look that you're looking for. As you can probably tell, I've always been a big fan of the Egyptian aesthetic. Why? Who'll ever know? Personally, I think it's because I'm a big fan of art and I love how they just put art on absolutely everything to tell their stories. Now, this whole world is yours, and really it's up to you what you want to do with it. Myself, after I found everything on the map, I want to go through and make everything look gorgeous. Then possibly go have a nice drink with my good friend Oreo. My only Radisson that has made it through all of the days together with me since the very beginning. Oreo, just be a G like that. Now, if you thought that was the end of all my explanations, you would be wrong. That is just the very beginning of this game. You got everything from hunting rabbits to defending your base to worrying about whether it's raining or shining. Yes, it does rain, and that rain collects. And yes, that water is good for you. You can use it to give it to the farmers to grow more plants to get more food for your citizens. But if you're not paying attention to it, it can also flood your subway, stopping everybody from being able to travel quickly from one point in the map all the way to the other. And if you don't want to spend 10 minutes walking from one side of the map all the way to the other side of the map, you're gonna need that. And yes, you heard correctly, I said subway. There's also elevators. Don't think rats should be able to use elevators? Fight me about it. Now, I've put a ton of hours in this game, from everything from crafting to collecting to building my city, even building the house you see me inside right now. And this house happens to be on top of a tree that took me a whole in-game year to reach. I even made sure my radisons were all fine and dandy before I even started building it. Of course, it can never even stay that way. I swear, how hard is it to take a bath every couple of days? Now, I may have forgotten to mention this earlier, but this game is relatively new. When I bought it and started playtesting it for you guys, it was still in its early access stage. And I still had a ton of fun with it. Now, I'm not completely sure what they added after that, but I just found bosses and whole cutscenes. I really just didn't expect that out of this game, and the fact that I found them as of recently, after about 150 days in, tells me that there's so much more in this game that I can find. Not to mention that I'm almost hitting day 200 now, and I still have things that aren't unlocked. And even farther past that, there's things that you can get from doing the boss dungeons that you can't get anywhere else. Mainly weapons and building plans. This game has really given me an excitement that I haven't had for a builder game in a while. I played a ton of Terraria back in the day, and I had a whole city going on, and I did love that game, but it just felt a little empty to me after a while. You were just grinding to collect more things, and I understand that's how this game goes, but this one that I'm talking about, Ratopia, gives it a whole new meaning, letting you take care of all of your citizens, making sure that they don't die, and if they do die, you have to bury them and take care of them. You have to make sure that they've eaten, that they're happy, that they're washing themselves, that they're getting enough rest. And I guess that somehow psychologically brings me back to my sim days. Because I always did love building a house, building a kingdom, and making sure that my stupid citizens didn't die from burning the house down. In this case, not dying because they have no money because they burnt their job down and can no longer make money, therefore refuse to eat because they have to buy it. Now, if that sounded a little complicated to you, it is. I'm not saying that this game is the easiest thing in the world to play. And honestly, if you're not paying attention to your laws, you can kill off your whole civilization because you forgot to make a certain type of food for poor people instead of rich people. And again, you heard me correctly. There's classes in this game. You can be poor, middle class, or rich. And honestly, that adds a whole new level of difficulty because sometimes my brain is just empty. I suffer from a thing called empty brain. There's nothing in there. But getting off the topic of the wind chill factor of the wind going through one ear and out the other, this game has a lot to discover and a lot to do. And honestly was another game that I really just didn't expect to have too much fun with. And I guess that's Steam's fault a little bit. I do love Steam a lot, but with any game being able to get on Steam at any point in time, you have hundreds of thousands of these 2D platformers that people have spent a whole 5 minutes on and want a buck out of. In through all these lists, there's some hidden gems, but nobody wants to buy 700 games in order to find the one game that's fun. So a lot of times when I see games like this, I just let it lie. But I saw the little rat chick on the cover and I just couldn't help myself. I am so bad at looking at cover art and being like, that looks fun! Trust me, quite a few people have gotten money out of my pocket just because they had good cover art. Now let's turn up the notch on this again. You think I'm done? No, this game is so good. They took the time to even put seasons in the game. And yes, I know that sounds silly. It's not just a biome, but it makes the game progression so much harder and makes you have to pay attention to your citizens so much more. You see, in spring, things tend to grow faster, and you get a lot of rain, and you can collect things so much easier. It just always seems like I don't ever have a problem in spring, and I use all of this time in order to collect resources, get food for my citizens, really just to get anything that I needed to get done throughout the year done. Then sooner or later you hit summer. Summer is also great, but you can start hitting things that just don't work well with your citizens. Everything from it raining super hard and starting to drown out everything, or a drought itself that stops you from using too much of the water because it's not raining anymore. Honestly, I've hit a drought or two within fall and maybe even a storm. I can't quite remember. But fall isn't bad either. But it's really a time frame to tell you what's coming. Winter. Winter. These months are harsh. Everything that's gatherable stops being gatherable. It stops growing. Your whole society lived off food that the hunter-gatherers went out and got. Well, you're not finding any more of that for a whole season. Your residents will get sick, they'll get hungry, they'll be bored. Snow will fall from the sky and block your ways in and out of places. All of these things put together will make your citizens unhappy. Some of the jobs they were doing can no longer be done, therefore they're not making money and they start to starve, not just because you don't have the resources, but because they can't afford to buy them. Before long, they get angry, start burning down your city, wrecking your buildings, doing everything they can to revolt against you, and sometimes the most inconvenient times. If you have guards, but you don't have a medic, the guards will go knock out the people, but won't pick them up. You can have people dying in the middle of your city, and every Radisson that walks by a dead body witnesses it, and this causes them to get more upset, meaning more revolts. Now, you've sat here and listened to me talk about all of the good things about this game, but really only a few of the bad. So let's talk about the bad. Honestly, like I said, it's a 2D side-scroller. You can go left, you can go right, you can go up, you can go down. But it is not 3D, so if you're not into 2D side-scrollers, or 2D games in general, you're not going to have fun with this one. The game at times can be overly complicated, and sometimes you can just have your citizens dying off left and right until you figure out where you messed up in either making a law, or not having the right amount of food, or even making the food so poor people can eat it and not just middle class and rich. Now let's get to the worst part of this game, the Radissons. As much as I love these tiny little guys, 90% of them are just completely stupid. You can tell them to go mine something or build something, but if they're not going to build it in the right order or they mine it in the wrong order, they'll completely get themselves stuck in an odd end of the map that you have to go dig their way out or break the structure you just had them build in order to get them back out before having to rebuild the structure, which costs materials. Their order of operations are in the order that they get their orders in. Nothing else. They have no other idea. You don't put down a building and then go build the building. They go and get the thing that you dropped on the ground 2 hours ago before they'll come and build your building because you dropped the item first. And personally, this gets a little annoying because you'll build something and come back 2 hours later and wonder why it's not built. Then 2 seconds later, you'll see Jerry walk past like, "Oh hey boss, I saw you drop this stick in the ground. I'm gonna go put it back in the inventory." Then you watch Jerry walk off with the stick still in their hand. Meanwhile, you're trying to build a farm so your Radissons don't starve during the winter. Then to make matters worse, 10 minutes after that, you'll have Jerry destroying half the city because they don't have any food. Some of these Radissons make me want to strangle them just a little bit. It's just But despite my murderous rage for all these Radissons, well, except for Oreo, you still have to take care of them, because otherwise your city falls apart. I'd be lying, though, if I said I didn't just stand there and watch some of the citizens die just because they've revolted too many times. Is it my fault? Probably. But you shouldn't have burnt down my city. 9 times. Now, even though I've told you all this, and I've told you what I think is good and bad, and the different things throughout the game, I don't even think I've scratched the surface. But when all is said and done, I think that this is a hidden gem. Basically a brand new game, really not that expensive. I'm really enjoying it, and I think you should take some time out of your day to go and see if you enjoy it too. But that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we hope to see you again next time you join us right here on Bad Habits. Boop. You have just been booped.